Hello there again. Welcome to the channel. Another question I've been getting for a long time, and I've been thinking about doing a video like this, but haven't been around to doing it. But anyway, here it is. What tools do you use? And it's like, well, first of all, you need a sharp knife. That takes you into a lot of places. And it can be just like a pocket knife. There are different other knives that you can buy, but basically a good knife. Second of all is a fit. And guys from the nautical sailor naughting world, they have all kinds of names for it, be it a prick and a fit and whatever. But in the rawhide braiding world, we talk about either a fit or an awl. And here's one that is made by Osborne Company. And I think they sell it in most leather store as being a scratching awl. What I suggest you do is take it to a grounder real quick and take off the sharpness of the point. Round it out just a little bit, and so you don't hurt your string. And because rawhide, when it's wet and you're braiding with it or leather, the last thing you want to do is weaken it with this point or just damage it. I got 3 of them here in 3 different sizes. I like this handle a lot. I also like this handle a lot. So as you can see, the awl itself or the fit itself has 3 different sizes. I like to use the size, and that's just me. Just again, my opinion. I'm not saying you have to, but it's something that works for me. And it works for me because it helps me keep my buttons straight. I like to use the same size of fit that my string is, or very close to it. And I know there's some guys that really like a round fit. I like more of an oval fit. I feel if I can go in there and I can twist it like 90 degrees and get it up, I can make enough room in my button to get the string through, because I don't use any needles or whatever. When I have string in my humidifier, I usually leave a little bit out, and that toughens up and that kind of works like a needle. I got this one. I made this myself from a little piece of antler, and a heavier gauge leather sewing needle works really good for a really fine string, and I can use it also to straighten up a longer button, just as this one is, which is a more specialized version of it. It does a great job at getting your X's straight down your button, and you can work it like this. By the way, this and the 3 that I showed you before were made by my friend Jeff Miner, and he does an awesome job in making awls and some other tools. Now, sometimes you feel like your awl, just a straight awl, is kind of not doing what you want it to do on a more complex button, or it's got a corner in there or whatever. I got this one from the late Lin-Yu, and you can see it's got that little hook here. That's really good. Like, you can press it in and then go underneath, and especially if you got to go under 5 or 6 in like a heel nut or something, this works really good. And there's a couple other ones, also this one, is made by Len Yulin. It's got that little bit of curve in there, and sometimes on certain buttons it just works better than a straight one. I really like this one. Here's another one that I got from Jeff Miner. Same, it's got this little bit of a weird S shape in it, but for some buttons it works great. It works awesome, especially if you're working with finer string. And then if you're working with a little bit of heavier string, my buddy Johnny Beard made this one for me. Really nice. And also it's got that little curve in there. And I know guys that like that little curve really well, and they hate working with a straight awl. You know, everybody's brain is wired different, okay? What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So what else do we use? We got some pliers going. And what I feel became real important for my work were shaping pliers. So the first ones that I got these two from Brett Heskett. I don't know what he starts from or what it's called, but it works perfect in, you know, forming your button. Especially trying to get a nice spherical button, works really good for it. Now, if you don't want to get fancy, this is a homemade one where I just took like a little grinder or whatever and kind of took out the teeth in here. You know, normally it's got your teeth in there, and I still need to take these things out, but that also works. And this, of course, is for a smaller button because it doesn't have much of a curve to it. But those are all possibilities, you know, just take a Dremel to it, whatever, and get going. Now, there are several types of pliers that you can use to make sure that your buttons are all the same size. And a lot of them have like a prong or whatever. What you can do is this comes from a hardware store. This is not like a candle pliers or anything, but it kind of is shaped the same and works the same. So what you can do is, again, take it to a center or whatever and take a little rounding out here. Or you can just leave it as is. I got several of them. I don't have them all here on the table. Another really good one for that I got as a present from my friend John Jacot is this one, kind of like the same deal, and works really good to shape your buttons and to get stuff straight and all. Another thing you might want to try to get your hands on, and you can find that in any hardware store, is needle nose pliers. So these are with a curve. Sometimes that may help you. These are just straight ones, small ones, bigger ones, doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, whatever makes your boat float, use that. And I'm sure that you have worked with a needle nose pliers before in your life. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. The only thing you might want to be careful with is if the teeth in there are too sharp, you might want to soften them up a little. But it's not necessary. Another one that I have is this set. It's just a regular piece of pliers. I did take a sander to it here and smoothened out this, but this is a little bit of a wider beak and a narrower beak, and for me this one works really good to really pull stuff through once it is through far enough, and I don't need to use a needle nose. And then I got two types of nippers. I got this here, and what a nipper does as opposed to a knife is when you get your button finished and you really pull on your standing end, on your working end, and you may have it in a vise or in a grip or whatever, and you pull and you cut it. If you cut it, it's just a cut. That's it. But if you work with a nipper, what that does is it kind of flattens it, presses it a little bit, where that string is going to go do this a little bit, which means it stays better underneath your knot, and it doesn't want to go anywhere because it's got that little Y shape to it. If you exaggerate it far, you can have this. This is what I use mostly to cut string when I'm done with a button, and cut that leftover string from the button. And I also got this one. This one I use more. It's just, I use this one a lot when I'm doing a snake braid or a bleat knot, or, whatever they want to call it, to make the incisions in the leather or the rawhide so I can braid it through. That's what I use this for. So basically, those are my main tools that I use in braiding rawhide. I hope this helps somebody. If you got any questions, just put them in the comments underneath here, and I'll try to answer as soon as I can. And you can also find a lot more information about tools and how to cut rawhide and leather and all in the Facebook group, the Rawhiders Gathering. And then, of course, you can also come to the Rawhiders Gathering, but that's something different that there's another video about. So I hope this helped somebody. Like I said, all I shared here is just my opinion. Nothing more than that. It's not the gospel. It's just my opinion and what works for me. Hope it helps somebody. Talk to you later.